President, members of the board, Dr. Witherspoon, you should have before you the financial statement for the months of July and August. And I'll just speak to the month of August. This is the most current month. As you know, our fiscal year runs between October 1st of 2013 through September 30th of 2014. Again, this is the financial statement for August of 2014. Of course, next month, when I present the financial statement, it will be in reference to our year-end closeout. And I will be giving our final balance, year-end balance. On tab 2, you will turn the page. After you get to tab 2, to the next page, where you see the district's balance sheet, we would note that in our general fund, we had assets totaling $33.2 million, liabilities at approximately $1.5 million, and a total fund equity of $31.6 million. Of that $31.6 million fund equity, about $3.6 million was for obligated purchase orders. So those funds were already obligated. Therefore, we have a true fund balance at the end of August of approximately $28 million. Mr. President, I'd also like to state that I have had an opportunity. As you know, we're in the midst of year-end closeout. And of course, we're required to send the financial statement to the state of Alabama by November 1st. And of course, we also will have to have the financial statement printed in our local newspaper. Just a quick snapshot, I'm comfortable in stating that although we projected any fiscal year 2014 with approximately a $19.8 million fund balance, just a quick snapshot, I feel quite comfortable in stating that our fund balance will be at least $21 million. So I think the board has done an excellent job. Of course, in managing this expenses. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Watts. Board members.
I'd like to thank you, Mr. Watts, for just keeping us on task and keeping us within our budget. Fantastic.
Any other board members? Dr. Witherspoon.
Mr. President, that's all for the presentation and recommendations.
Thank you, sir. We are now ready to entertain a consent agenda. It is the recommendation that the consent agenda be approved as submitted. It has been moved and properly seconded. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to pull D for some more clarification.
Yes, ma'am. Any other board member? Minus 7D, it is the recommendation that the consent agenda be approved as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion is carried. It is the recommendation that we approve the single sign-on and identity automation.
Question. I'd like to move item D for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Ms. Brown?
I would personally like some more clarification on D as far as the single sign-on and identity automation, because the only time we heard something about this was when we looked into our package.
Dr. Stevens.
President Woodman, Superintendent, Board members. Ms. Brown, is there a specific question or?
I just think we need some clarification on it as a whole. You're saying single sign-on and identity automation, that would be involving the whole system or what? We don't have any clarification. We just saw some information in our package.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, the definition of single sign-on means that every employee has one login and they're able to access all resources that they're entitled to access in the district with that single log-on. Currently, they have multiple log-ons. For example, student information has a different log-on. There's a different log-on for email. There's even a different log-on and password to access the system itself. That means to get on our network itself. And that's not even talking about for teachers, the log-ons with the different software packets that they're using for students, as well as also our students. So this single sign-on will have a process in place for us to have one log-on. Now it's twofold. The other part of this is identity automation. Right now, we have a manual process, onboarding process. When HR hires an employee, there is a manual process that technology utilizes to create a login to access the network. So at this point, that process becomes automated. Now, there's several security reasons why we need to address this. We need to address it, for example, if an employee is put on administrative leave, or if an employee leaves or they dismiss for any reason, there is a lag time from when that happens and HR enters it into its system, then when technology realizes that and we disable their account. So that will take that lag time out, and it is not a manual process. And also decreases the errors on humans, because we may read a name wrong. And that's not even talking about the employees that are going to come, and then we find out later that they did not come. There is a lag time there, and they already have access to our resources. So we've got to firm that up. It is a security breach in our district, and we've got to have some type of single solution where we have single sign-on and where with the onboarding or outgoing process with HR that is automatic and it is not a manual person doing it anymore.
Okay, question. In our package on personnel agendas, I've had questions dealing with us going back to June and just showing up now. Would this help to alleviate that?
It will alleviate that because we will connect to HR, and whatever HR does, it would immediately be. And it also will allow us, say for example, the person comes and we create a log-on is created automatically, well, it's not necessarily activated. So yes, it will alleviate all of those little security breaches and instances that we're facing now.
Okay, I think you have put it there for all of us to know what's going on instead of just putting something in front of us. Thank you.
Ms. Williams.
My question is, thank you for sharing that information. It was very helpful. I just wanted a procedural issue. Did we send out an RFP for it? Did we have multiple vendors submit, or was it a one source provider, or did we pull it off a list?
First of all, we have not gotten to where we're selecting the actual product to do this yet. What we did start with is we started with our consultant self, with the Center for Educational Leadership Technology. They're actually going to come in. Now, they have a solution that they're recommending, but we're not necessarily tied to that solution. So someone's going to come in, interview all of us. We need to understand what we have, our needs, and at that point, we're going to rely upon them to make a software solution as to how that's done.
So am I understanding you to say this is not going to provide the single sign-on process? This is just, for lack of a better word, a program manager to help us identify what we need, help prepare the RFP, so this...
It's going to do all of it. It's a total solution. They're gonna identify what we need, and they're gonna also provide the software that's needed.
For the same amount of money?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Only thing we have to purchase, we will have to purchase like the software, and that is an additional amount of money, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, I
Yes.
mean, now, so wait a minute now, I'm a little confused now for real. Tell me, what do we get for the amount of this?
That amount of money, what we get is the implementation of a solution. And we have to purchase that. We have to purchase some piece of software, like a web portal, or we gotta purchase that to keep, to connect all of our systems together. But what you're looking at is the project management piece of all of it.
That's what I said
Yes,
first, and you
yes,
said,
I'm
no, you
sorry.
included everything.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Ms. Alexander?
If I could just clarify, just ask you once again, the $90,000 that we are including with this particular item is for the consultants
Yes,
to
ma'am.
come in and to look at our system. Does it also involve implementation of the software package
Yes, ma'am.
and subsequent training and working with our staff to ensure we implement it correctly? All of that is included.
Yes, ma'am, as well as collecting the data to determine what we have in place, what systems we have, and putting standards and processes in place, yes.
So once we vote this in, we wouldn't expect any other items associated with providing this type of login and the use of one login for our staff. This should cover us for that.
That will cover us for that piece. The only other item we will have is we will have a purchase order to purchase the software.
Just for clarification, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Our attorney has reviewed the contract,
Yes, ma'am.
and it will include the training and the rollout of the program.
Yes, ma'am, and our attorney we've clarified that we need a statement.
We're gonna add a termination clause to the contract. It's not in here now, but it will be added prior to being executed. We just need to work with them to get that. So we'll make sure.
Ms. Brown?
Okay. I'm looking at cost, okay, we see $90,000 invoice schedule 6.2, and 6.1, $150,000.
That's another item.
Oh,
That
okay.
is the,
All right, but I did see the 90,000, I'm just getting my money together. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Watson, if I could, just ask, I'm sorry. You didn't answer about how did we select, did we identify other providers, or did we just,
how do we select SELP?
yes?
Well, first of all, we've been working with them for 5 years on various technology projects. So we felt like it was not a time for us to change that vendor or to kind of go out for competition. They've done right by us, and they know our environment intently. So someone else would have to come in, get to know our environment. As a matter of fact, they helped us put in a lot of processes and procedures that we already have in technology in place over the years that they've worked with us. So we felt that the continuity would best benefit the district.
Board members, any other questions? We have an item before us to approve the single sign-on and identity automation. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? That motion is carried. Is the recommendation that personnel action items be approved as submitted?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I abstain.
That motion is carried. We are now ready for board highlights. Ms. Gardner?
I would just like to say that we had an opportunity to attend the CUBE conference in Miami, Florida on last week before that. Workshops were excellent. It was quite a productive conference.
Mr. Watson?
No comment.
Ms. Williams?
I would just like to remind everyone that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For all of our employees to be mindful of your health and wellness. And for the males in the audience, please encourage your significant others or female family members to please be mindful and have their exams and make sure that we are all here to enjoy a quality long life. And Dr. Witherspoon, when is American Education Week?
The second, third weekend.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure it didn't slip up on us. Thank you.
Ms. Alexander?
Thank you, Mr. Whitmore. I had the opportunity to attend a ceremony with the Birmingham Public Library last week for one of our students at Jones Valley Middle School. She won the art cookbook competition, so her art was displayed on a cookbook that they had during their Eat, Read, Write week of celebration. And so she and her teacher were there, and I apologize, I don't have their names, but it is just another opportunity for us to witness the success and the talent of our students. So I want to be sure we mention that. Thank you.
Mr. Katina?
Dr. Witherspoon, I don't know if you were going to mention this, but I'm going to steal your thunder only because it has to do with the debate team. But with Speak First debate team, our team won first place at the, I guess it was a state tournament. There was 31 plus teams, and the team that won was one of the students was from Ramsey, and that was from Stephen Black's group that came in a couple months ago. But beat teams from across the state. It's pretty exciting. I was extremely proud of them. And Chelsea Caldwell is her name from Ramsey. So I love debate.
Ms. Brown?
I also went to the conference in Miami, and I'm always open to see new things. I attended a school, I visited a school, Young Women's Preparatory Academy, which is a public school in Miami, and that school just about blew my mind. The school is an all-girls magnet school. Each class only has 18 in the classes. The school has a cyber cafe, computers. Even though it's an all-girls school, they have some male teachers. But the thing that really blew me out of pocket, every girl that graduates from that school in the 12th grade goes to college. And to hear and see what they had, all I could do was wish and want. Could Birmingham get some of this? And I'll say it again, it was a magnet school and a public school. Also on last week, I got a chance to visit some of our schools that we have here. I visited Putnam, Oliver, and Hayes. When I went to Oliver and saw that school, saw those students, the pre-K classes building communities, and then to go outside, the only garden that I've heard about lately is Glen Iris. I saw that garden, and what fascinated me, I've been to the country, to see those kids growing cotton, and to see the cotton bursting open to be picked, and I even begged for some young collard greens. But, you know, to see what our little kids are learning, it's an experience. And to see, like I said, the garden, and to see cotton. How many of our children in Birmingham City Schools have actually seen a cotton plant, to see a cotton bulb, and then to see the cotton open up? It fascinated me. It wasn't a matter I hadn't seen it, but to see our children be exposed to these things. It was really nice. It was an experience for me last week. Eventually I'm gonna learn to stay at home sometime. But this was worth going to see. Thank you, Mr. Wayne.
Mr. Collins.
Mr. President, first of all, I echo Mrs. Brown's sentiments about I too visit those schools too, and we're very, very impressed with the teaching and learning that's going on. I actually got to see children go outside and have class outside, and there was a basketball court right next to it. They were not interested in it. They were engaged in the instruction that was being given. Also, I say I got an opportunity to go out to Huffman Academy today and participate in the Hispanic parade. It was a really, really fun experience, and I ate well. I got there just in time to get that in, but also participate in the parade and the other festivities that they had. So I thank Dr. Lindsay, and I commend her for the job she's doing out there. Want to plug my favorite my favorite high school. We're having our homecoming this week, so I invite all of you out there to Huffman High School to this game and participate in the activities that's going on at the school. I think today was Zombie Day. My daughter, who's attending that school, she dressed up this morning and texted me a picture of how she looked. I was just hoping they wouldn't send her back home. But it was really, really, that she's enjoying it and having fun out there. So I thank Principal Lyons and his staff for the work that they're doing out there.
Mr. President.
We are now ready for community voice. In regards to community voice, each person from our public will have 2 minutes to speak. Please be courteous and aware of your time and avoid any name calling or anything of that such, derogatory statements. With that, we call Dr. S.S. Hewitt. If you could, we're going to pause because I think it's important for